Hello and welcome to another video of painting with a cat. Today I've been asked to show you how I paint blonde fair hair. This comes from the little fella Mary that I painted, and there's two kind of tones. There's Pippin, she's a little bit darker. And I sent these pictures to a friend and he requested a video on how to paint blonde hair. Oh, the cat is trying to come up. Yep, I don't know what you want to do. So, basically, I'm going to show you how to do that with the last of the hobbies that I'm going to paint, which is Samwise Gamgee, the hero of the whole books, according to Tolkien himself. There's many renditions and versions of Sam that you can find from the Perry brothers, from the original trilogy, and in metal. I always thought that the best one, or at least my favorite one, the one from Attack on Weathertop, Famine Soul. I like this scene, I like it better in the books, but I understand that it was kind of hard to portray it in the films. What I like about this miniature is the posture, how he's clenching to the sword. Look at the expression on his face. It's really intense. I really like it. And if you check the film again, Sam's the only one who managed to cross swords with the Nazguls. Merry and Pippin, for whatever reason, if you check again, the gaze separated by a Nazgul just with one hand. So either Merry or Pippin, I'm out of here. Yeah, anyway, one thing I learned from another great painter called Colty, honestly, is that when you are about to paint blonde hair, you are tempted to use yellow colors, because we tend to think that blonde hair is yellow, which is actually not. It's almost beige or even white sometimes. So the colors I'm going to use are all of them browns, different tones of browns, with some touches of beige. Forget how destroyed my paints are, but from the most, you can either use bar number, something similar, or chocolate brown from Vallejo. I'm gonna use all Vallejo, but you can easily replace them with whatever you prefer. So from the darker to the most lighter, or you have bar number, flat earth, ochre brown, beige. You know, some touches with white if you want. I might like to white. The problem with white is that sometimes it's quite saturated color, so you might saturate the overall picture that you're trying to paint. So pretty easy. The first thing, this miniature has been primed with some gray with an airbrush, and then just light, a cenital light with just white, pure white, I think it's called. There's not much to do. Sometimes I will recommend, if you don't have to do it, but I will recommend to at least paint every base color, so you can see how more or less the tones are working together, how they relate to each other, if you want to say it like that. Because sometimes you're painting the hair of a miniature hair, or maybe the cape, whatever. And because you don't have skin tone, even this is going to be much lighter. In the end, you don't know how light you want your brown. It has to dry. Again, if there's anything you're interested in, another tutorial or how you want to call it, just let me know. If you know how to paint faces, although I think I made a video on that, or how I painted this blue, or these pants, or even this kind of purple tone. It's pretty easy, actually. And to be honest, this one is only 3 colors. It was by accident. I discovered that if you mix red and green, you get this color, the one over here. And the blue is just different kinds of blues. In the case of Sam, we're gonna paint a color closer to Mary, to this hand. But if you want a darker one, start with black. You can see there's black over here. Then use chocolate bar number and go with flat earth. Then if you see this over here is the ochre brown and a bit of beige if you want. So it's kind of similar of the process we're gonna do with Sam. You want a darker, something that you can do is add more, intensify the saturation, all the pigmentation of that with some more dark brown. I like it how it looks now. So what I'm going to do is go for the second color, and as you can see, I'm painting with very thin layers, because something I don't want is to have lumps of paint, and it's easy to mix and to blend them. The first paint, the first dark brown hasn't been completely dry out, and I'm adding the second one. As you can see, it's no complicated at all. The main idea, you don't even have to pick every fiber of the head. We're not attempting that. We're not attempting to go from the hairs that stand out from the background of the hair. What we're trying to do is lighten up the top of the head. So what we're gonna do is stop painting like if you're making a cake. Stop painting the bottom. It's a pretty easy principle, to be honest. The thing is, you don't know, you can see it. It's pretty subtle. And now, excuse me, this is important because you see the transition from this brown to this other brown. It's not as intense. And when we go from the flat brown to the ochre, and then we paint straight from the flat brown to the ochre, it can stand out quite a lot. If you want to do that because you want intense contrast, just go ahead and do it. That's not what we're trying to do. See if you can spot now how suddenly the transition is much more noticeable. Yeah. So you see, we're not going all the way down. The main reason, because that will be wasting our time, obviously. Also, you have to consider that when you're playing, because I'm painting, thinking about playing, and sometimes taking nice pictures when you're playing. So most of the time when you're playing, you don't see the whole miniature. You only see the top. And I think that the lighter the top is, the most interesting the picture when you're playing will be. You see, there's a transition that you can see now. But it's still pretty subtle. Now what we're gonna do is try just with the ochre. Very thin layers, very thin layers. The idea is to get the hair to look natural. And if we go with yellow, some people do paint blonde hair with yellow. So you kind of get it because it looks like that. When you paint yellow, it doesn't look realistic. And I think that's what we're trying to do when we paint, right? To reproduce, to mimic reality. Unless you're painting something weird, like, well, cute stuff. Even still. So the only last color we need to add is beige. And now it depends on how fair you want it. If you want a hair like Legolas hair, or very, very, very fair, maybe add more of this. And again, look how different beige from ochre is. You want to start different, go ahead with the beige. But be careful now, because beige dominates the brown, so we need more brown than beige. And let's see how it looks now. It's subtle. It's fine. I really got tip. So here, if you are lucky on the model, there's some line in the middle. Try not to cover it with light colors, because the contrast between the line of the hair and the rest of the hair, it's kind of important. Camera blues. We're in more and more beige as we progress. We almost have it. Now, so we use some white. Not a big fan of white. And if you use it, I wouldn't even use lines. I will use dots of white here and there, just to dry the eye to those exact points. But it's up to you. Sometimes people want their miniatures to have deep contrast. And always remember, it's your mini. So see here a screw up. Take some water SS. Oh yes, keep on painting. Screwing up is the first step to perfection. If you keep doing it. While trying to learn from it. Sometimes another technique that can be useful is, I don't know how they call it, reverse lining or darkening on whatever, which is if we suddenly see that the dark colors, we cover the dark colors or something, you can just go ahead and instead of making it lighter, so for example here, I'm not 100% happy with the result. And I think it's because I need to make the transitions from beige to ochre a little bit more subtle. So what I'm gonna do is do the opposite. Take the ochre, and paint over the beige. Some people will say that this is a waste of time. Like, if you're a good painter, you don't need to go back over your own steps because you have to manage your time. I guess I'm not a good painter then, but paint because I don't know. It just relaxes me. Some touches over here, here. That's some brownies, some flat brown. I don't like complaining, but painting with the camera on my face is kind of complicated. And I'll say that's done. I don't know if you can see it. Always try to be aware of where the light is coming from. Always try to. Because otherwise, it's gonna look confusing to the eye. People will be like, well, what is going on with this miniature? Where's light coming from? Doesn't look natural. The other thing is try to experiment with different light sources. It would be interesting in this this particular shed because they're fighting in Nazgul and there's a fire in the middle, to have done it differently, to have done it in a way that the light is coming from below. But I don't know. Whatever. So here's the hair. You could darken it a bit more over here. You want more contrast. You can even add some black, pure black. You can add more white on the top. But overall, that's mostly how it would look like. We have Sam Gamgee, the hero we need, not the hero we deserve. Bye bye.